I warned my GF to not try to make me choose between my parents or her since she would not like the answer. Am I the ass? Context: my parents are first-generation immigrants and made countless sacrifices to help me get to where I am today. As such, I am going to take care of them as it is the least I can do for everything they have done for me. My GF has been concerned since I do use my income to support my parents, which she feels could be better used towards ensuring and securing our own futures. She loves to cite that future is not set in stone, and I tell you I agree, so best we can do is prepare within reason and not live in fear of unknowns we have little control over. I spend well below my means. My GF also works, and I do not use family funds to provide support for my parents. It comes out of my fun money. She keeps bringing up saying we need to discuss this issue. I told her I do not question how she spends her fun money, so she has no right to question what I do with mine. Either way, I agreed to have a discussion with her. During our talk, she has claimed that the situations are different because of the income disparity between us. I do make much more than her, but I also cover a lion's share of our expenses. I did express this, and I also told her that the level of support I provide my parents is not up for discussion as long as I am solely relying on my discretionary income. She brought up how my spending habits will forever keep us in middle class, because while we do live well below or ours and have no debt, I am spending far too much and should be investing said money for the future. I asked what would she like to do about this, but I did remind her the support I give my parents is not up for discussion, and I did warn her don't try to get me to pick between her or my parents because she will not like the answer. I do love her, but I also love my parents, and I am not going to ignore their needs, because literally everything I have is because of them, and it is the greatest honor to be in a situation and position where I can help them. She started to cry and tell me I do not care for her. I said that is far from the truth, but I also told her if she feels that way, she is free to leave. She got upset, saying I should be fighting for what we have. She is staying with her sister ATM. Spoke with my online friends about this last night while we were playing some games. They were asking me questions, and honestly they were shocked how I would pick my parents over someone I love. Told them I feel it is possible to have both, but they told me I was kind of being a jerk. What they said got me thinking. My GF sent me a text wanting to talk, so I guess I just want to get some opinions. I do wish to still care for my parents, but it does seem like my view or stance goes against what it means to be in a relationship. So was I overly harsh and being closed-minded? My friends seem to think so. First comment, NTA. I think one of the issues with Reddit is people fail to take culture into account and always take a very Western approach. If you're from Korea, then you come from a culture where taking care of your parents is an honor and where community and family is more important than the individual. This can be a strength, especially when you consider that it's part of the reason why parents from non-Western cultural backgrounds are more likely to support their children even after they're legally adults, because they see their child's success as a long-term commitment, which in turn gets reciprocated when they are older and need care. And frankly, Western culture for old people sucks. The number of residents in nursing homes that I've seen with families that never visit them is heartbreaking. And while this sometimes requires boundaries and compromises, especially if you've moved to the West or are dating someone with a Western cultural background, in your case it sounds like you already have made compromises. You're spending from your discretionary fund, and the only thing your girlfriend is worried about is not being richer. Your financial stability together isn't at risk. Essentially, she wouldn't care about your parents' financial stability if it means she can't live the cushiest lifestyle you can afford her. Despite everything that your parents have done for you to get you where you are, and likely the reason you are so successful, you can afford this lifestyle she gets to benefit from. This is selfish, and it sounds like your girlfriend and friends have done little to compromise or to understand you and your culture, which she should have made an effort to do once she started dating someone from Korea. So I think some blunt honesty in the spirit of full transparency was the responsible choice to make on your part. Now, I'm not saying you should only date people with the same cultural background, but you should not date people with such different values, especially on something as important as this. And if this is something your girlfriend isn't willing to understand and support, you shouldn't be with her. Second comment, nah. Sometimes there is a way to do or phrase something that is more palatable to someone than you won't like the answer or suggesting that she leaves. There are ways to show her she's important to you and that you care for her without compromising your values or neglecting your parents. You are a bit harsh, but so was she. She wants you to fight for her and show her that you care. Yes, I personally believe that the person you're in love with should be your number one person unless you have children. That does not mean your parents should be neglected or left behind. I would explain this to her. Supporting them is non-negotiable for you. You love her, and you shouldn't have suggested she should leave. You want to make this work, but this is something she will have to learn to respect for that to happen. What will happen as they age and they require more and more care. Will you be paying for this? Will you be providing care? Is there property and/or a family home you stand to inherit? Do you have any siblings? I would have this mapped out and discuss it with your GF ahead of time, so there are no surprises. Third comment, NTA, middle class? That sounds very much like you are mostly just her pole for financial stability in the future and her ticket to the Gucci life. She wants you to stop supporting your parents with your fun money so she can get the fancy upper middle class life. So much entitlement without even being married. Also, your parents sacrificed their savings, their health, their life and enjoyment to get you to the place where you can afford to support a GF and have future money. How can you have any doubts about picking them over a girl who cares more about money than your family? She can't sacrifice some luxury so that you don't leave your parents stranded in their last years. What if you start earning less and can't get her out middle class? She'll most likely leave you cause no luxurious life then. Your parents aren't the issue, it's her expectations that she has a say in your extra personal finances. Even for a Western culture-raised girl, she's pretty blind to the culture and history of the man she chose to marry. Grounds for running as fast as you can. Money and girls like this don't mix. You'll have to lose one eventually. Drop the girl now or lose the house later in the divorce if you get married. Find someone with a heart and less greed. Fourth comment, nah Esh, you're incompatible. I suggest breaking up and finding a girl from a culture that practices the giving money to parents thing. There's several. I'm gonna preface this by saying I married someone that made less money than me, and I don't do gold digger culture. Divorce due to cheating, ABSE, and drug use on his part. As someone not from a culture that does that, here's how I see it and where I suspect her problem is coming from. Rather than seeking to improve your own home lifestyles and increasing the quality of lives of your future or current children, you would prefer to improve the lives of two fully grown adults, presumably with jobs, or at least the ability to have jobs. Can you be trusted to put your wife and children above these people as you should in a marriage? Because it's clear the answer is no. She could also be a gold digger, but with the way she phrased things, I think it's the first option. I do think it's super sweet that you do this when you're single. It's just going to be so much easier to do it with a girl that also does it. Also, your very matter-of-fact dismissal and how emotionlessly you relayed your story tells me you really don't love her. If she feels that way, she is free to leave. Yay. I can feel the love oozing out their breakup, for both your sakes. Fifth comment, NTA. I'm married to a man who is the sole financial support for his mother and grandmother. They're both handicapped and cannot work, so they rely on us just like a baby child would. In both of our cultures, both of us are first generation. Children taking care of parents when they age is the norm. So although it can be a sacrifice for us both at times, I understand. For a lot of my American friends, they can't possibly wrap their heads around this. Having this extra responsibility has altered how we view our future. They have to be factored into any plans we make. My husband would not be able to be with a partner that didn't understand this. Some people might say to let them figure it out themselves. After all, they are adults. However, to us, that doesn't align with our values. It sounds to me like you and her are finding a difference in your values. Perhaps being family-oriented means something different to you versus her. Some may think that means with the partner and children you build. Others believe it extends to your entire family network. You may be somewhere in between. My personal suggestion is to find someone that will cherish your family enough to be generous with them and who will not feel resentful that your family is taking from you and your partner's fun.